In today's conversation, I want to apply live for a Wells Fargo business line of credit. And the maximum amount here is $150,000. So here are the steps I want you to really follow. The thing is, I want you to go to the link that we're going to put on the screen right now. This is where you actually have the Wells Fargo unsecured business line of credit. And so when you go to that link, you actually have two types of business line of credit. So you have an unsecured business line of credit, and then you have a secured business line of credit. Now, the delta for the unsecured business line of credit goes from $10,000 all the way to $150,000. That's the delta for the loan approval. Now, if you want to collateralize the loan, in other words, if you want to have a secured business line of credit from Wells Fargo, which is the second category of business line of credit, here the amounts can go all the way to 10 million, which is okay anyway, because you are going to use your assets, your business assets, to collateralize the business line of credit. So Wells Fargo is not really risking anything, so they can give you all the way to $10 million, depending on the value of the underlying assets. Okay, so those are the two options here. And what I want to go to the next screenshot real quick. So with the Wells Fargo business line of credit, with a maximum line amount of $150,000, you can do a lot of stuff. You can use the cash for working capital. You can use the cash to supplement cash flows. So if there is a disruption, if there is a chasm between your cash inflows and cash outflows, you can use this business line of credit to fill that chasm, to fill that gap. And you can use the cash also to expand your business. Not a problem at all. You can also use the cash to cover unexpected expenses. What am I trying to say here? I'm saying that Wells Fargo grants you flexibility when it comes to the use of loan proceeds, or to be more specific, the use of line proceeds. Okay, so when you're ready, you have to hit the red button that says apply now. But before we hit the apply now, I want to quickly show you here. This is actually the confirmation that you're getting via email after you applied. So you need to have this. You want to save this email because it has an important piece of information. That's actually the reference number that you are going to use anytime you contact Wells Fargo for more information about your business line of credit. Very important, boss. By the way, boss, I want to quickly welcome you back to the show. It's wonderful to have you here. We are going to have a quick convo about how to actually apply for a Wells Fargo business line of credit. So this business line of credit has several options, several phases, if you will. And the first thing is Wells Fargo wants you to actually have a few pieces of documentation next to you. So you want to have your articles of organization if you're an LLC or LP, your articles of incorporation if you're an S corporation or C corporation. You want to have your EIN, so your letter of your EIN letter from the IRS. You want to have also your financials. All these things you're going to have to attach them and upload them after you are done with the application. Okay, so your financial statements, we're speaking about your four financial statements, your balance sheets, your income statements, your cash flow statements, and your owner's equity statements. Those are the four elements. And in some cases, Wells Fargo wants you to attach supplemental information to your financial statements. In other words, if you have disclosures to actually add, Wells Fargo might want to see those disclosures also. And in some cases, depending on the line of credit amount that you want, if you want like a higher line of credit amount, Wells Fargo might request to have an abridged version of your business plan. Not the 100 pages of a business plan, but probably the 20 pages or the 15 pages of your business plan. Very important, okay? But you got to also pay attention to the ownership type. Do you have an LLC, an S corporation, a C corporation, whatever? You have to have that and have your the name of the legal name of the business. Whatever name you put on this application, make sure it is the actual name, because Wells Fargo is going to cross-check information that you actually put in here versus the official records in the state where you are incorporated or where you are organized. In other words, they will contact the state authorities to see whether or not your business has a certificate of good standing. They'll ask about the EIN of your business, among other things. And by the way, if you have any question during the application, you can always contact 1-800-577-4990, 4990, so 800-577-4990. One thing I want to say, and I'm moving on to the next screenshot here. So basically, Wells Fargo is asking if you are our current Wells Fargo customer. you got to be a Wells Fargo customer to qualify for this business line of credit. If you're not a customer, you cannot apply. Okay, so here is asking you to, if you can be a customer and not be registered online. That's totally possible. Okay, so for this exercise, we actually hid a few pieces of information so that we can actually have, so we can hide our own business account information. But you need to be a business customer. If you're not going to qualify. And the next screenshot here, Wells Fargo is asking you about your name, first name, all that kind of stuff, your email. And then once you're done, hit continue. So the first piece of information here is that Wells Fargo is asking you about your how do I say it? Your business info. Okay. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about the $150,000 Wells Fargo business line of credit. So I'm actually walking you through the application here. So Wells Fargo is asking you for your business information. So you put your first name, last name, very, very simple. And you have to put your EIN. So make sure that, again, the EIN matches the EIN letter that you got from the IRS and the EIN that you also have with your state records. Okay. And you have to put your address. That's basic information. Let's move on to the next screenshot here. So same thing. You have to put your zip, your state, your city. Okay. Your business phone number. Again, here you want to make sure the business phone number that you put in the Wells Fargo on the Wells Fargo application here matches what's available in your state records, matches what's available in public records about your business. You also have to put the date your business was actually started, and you also have to put the ownership type. Ownership type means the legal structure of the business. Are you an LLC, an LP? Are you an LP? Are you an S corporation, a C corporation, or anything in between? But make sure again that whatever you put here matches your state records. You have to put your business sector. And this is for risk mitigation purposes. Wells Fargo wants to make sure that, like their algorithm, they have an algorithm that actually automatically calculates the risk metric for your sector. So when you put your business sector, they will see whether it is a risky sector or not a risky sector. And you want to go a little further. You want to provide some level of granularity by describing the business. And so that's what it is. The next screenshot here, Wells Fargo will ask you, like, if, for instance, if for any reason your industry is not listed on the drop down menu, you can actually just say so. You have to put you have to select the industry you're in. You have to put the subcategory you're in. And see, what I'm trying to say here, Wells Fargo is trying to go as granular as possible to sort of identify the risk level that you have in your industry. And then it will ask you your gross annual revenue. So here we put $250,000, and just make sure whatever information you put here must match what's available, what's present on your financial statements. So your P&L, your sales data must actually be also the amount you put here. And then the next screenshot is asking you for cash activity. We don't have any type of cash activity at all. So we put no. And if you're affiliated to a bank or a credit union, you have to say it here. So here we don't have any financial affiliation. This is for KYC purposes. Know your customer. Those are for like anti-money laundering and regulatory purposes. So here you just have to say no if it's no, of course. But if it's yes, you have to say it also. And once you're done, just hit continue. So once you're done with the business info, now let's move on to the owner info. So what will happen here is that Wells Fargo is asking you about the LLC owner or the requester of the business line of credit. So we put our first name, last name. You put your title. So we put CEO, and you have to put your social. So here you put your social. So basically, you have to understand, when you apply for a Wells Fargo business line of credit, Wells Fargo is simultaneously checking your business credit score and your personal credit score, or if you want to say it in a different way, your business credit report and your personal credit report. Both are done automatically and simultaneously. Okay, so this is why Wells Fargo wants you to have your social here. Now you can apply for this business line of credit on an EIN only basis, which means that you have to do things at the branch. Okay, so you don't put your social here. But again, let's just quickly move on here on so Wells Fargo is asking you for your date of birth, will ask you for your country of citizenship, will ask for a phone number, like basic stuff, And so Wells Fargo wants to know if the person applying for this business line of credit is responsible for managing the business. We said yes. If no, then they will ask for somebody who's responsible for actually applying. It's just one of those things they have to go through. Okay. And so here I put yes, just for the for sake of time here. And the next screenshot here was Fargo is asking for the annual household income of the person applying for this business line of credit. Why? Because Wells Fargo wants to, again, as I said before, is simultaneously evaluating the financial profiles of the business and the person applying on behalf of the business, right? Because again, you want to make sure that you have financial viability on both ends, because we're asking for $100,000, and you want to make sure that you have enough liquidity, enough leeway in your budget to actually repay the business line of credit. So this is what I want you to think about. So we put here $150,000 as annual household income. Again, here the information is what you show on your tax return. So the tax return is your adjusted gross income. That's the info you have to put here. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about the $150,000 Wells Fargo business line of credit application. So I'm just walking you through an online application here. So basically, the next thing here is that you are going to create an account with Wells Fargo. So this is, here it says account information. This just means your business line of credit account information. So the system will actually replicate the name that you already put in the system, and the amount requested. We are requesting $100,000. We're not requesting the 150. We're requesting $100,000. And basically, the thing is that the system will ask a few questions about your personal liquidity. So basically, you have any kind of household assets that are like above half a million. We don't. So we put no. And if you want to have, let's say, if you want to have overdraft protection, then you can just hit yes here. Now, what is overdraft protection? Well, you want to have overdraft protection for your Wells Fargo business checking account, not any type of any other accounts. And also here, you cannot have overdraft protection for your personal checking accounts at Wells Fargo. No, it doesn't work that way. So you have to link your Wells Fargo business checking accounts to the overdraft protection if you want it. In other words, if you are approved, you want Wells Fargo to use some of the funds in your business line of credit to cover whatever gap you might have in your business checking accounts, because you are trying to avoid overdrafts. Okay, you are trying to avoid bounced checks. So this is what it is. So another thing I want to mention here is that, remember, this account you'll have to hold this account for a long time. So whatever information you put here, make sure that it is accurate, because most people, most businesses hold a business line of credit for many years. Sometimes we have business clients right now who have business lines of credit for like 20 years with Wells Fargo. Okay, 20 years. So this account that you are about to create right now will house your business's data for a long time. So just take the time to actually review it. And Wells Fargo is asking you something at the bottom where it says, I want to make sure I want to make telephone transfers with no fee from my business line of credit account to my business checking account. If you want that, then you can say so. If not, we do not actually advise our clients to do it, because things change, and you first want to have the account and see how things work before you actually activate anything. The next phase here is all about verifying the info that you already put in. So what's happening here is that the system is just replicating all the info. It's just summarizing all the info that you put, and so system will just asking you to review everything and be sure that you're comfortable. So you can see here's the first screenshot. So you put your business information, first name, last name, your EIN, all that kind of stuff. Okay, first screenshot. Second screenshot here. So again, here is just a continuation of what we put before. So you put the industry. So the bottom line here is what you want to review this again, because a business line of credit is a long-term relationship type of things. So you want to make sure the info you put here is totally accurate. It has to match not only what the reality is, but also what's available in state records about your business. So, for example, your industry, your NICS code, those are elements that are important. Okay, and you also want to review like your gross annual revenue. We're talking about the business's gross annual revenue. So when you open your QuickBooks, when you open your Xero, you open your Expensify, when you open your Zoho books, when you open your like your Wave accounting reports, your annual revenue, your sales for the year should match whatever amount you put here. And so the next screenshot here where it's asking you about cash activity, we put no cash activity. So this is basically you providing more information about yourself also, because you can see here it says owner information. So besides business information, you got to provide information about the owner. So the name, first name, last name, the social security number of the owner. And so next screenshot, like basic information about the owner. We're talking about phone number. One thing that's important here is the annual gross income. So annual household income, we put here $150,000 because this again is linked to the business line of credit in terms of liquidity. And the last screenshot here is so again, everything we just went through is stuff that you did before, but you want to take the time to go through all of these things. And if you're comfortable about the accuracy of everything, just hit continue. So once you hit continue, what will happen here is that Wells Fargo will give you a series of documents to electronically sign. So here we have documentation e-signature. So you can see the first one here, it says, please review and act on these documents. So here, this is just you signing everything. So hit continue. So when you hit continue, what will happen here is that you will see actually a series of documents. So I'm going to show you the first, like the top of the page and the bottom of the page, because in the middle you have a lot of pages. Okay, and so here is the top of the page that you can see here. So everything is pre-populated. So the electronic signature software pre-populates everything. So you have your first name, last name, your application IDs. That's a reference number I was just talking to you about earlier. And so that's good. What about the next screenshot? Next screenshot here, you have if you hit sign, what will happen here is that the system will give you options. So hit sign now. And the next screenshot here, you have options. So the system is giving me the Sweetie Kiwi signature, like 2. And if you're lucky, you might have 3 or 4 or 5. And remember that you can also upload the exact signature that you want anyway. So I just hit the one to the left and I said adopt and sign. And once you sign, what will happen here is that you have to hit again the sign button, button. And then once you hit the sign button, you will see here on the screen that basically the software just replicated the sort of the PNG that you had before. Okay, so and that's fine. And it also puts the date, so you have a confirmation about everything that you're doing, and it's dated, is a time. This is really fine. And next here, you just review everything and make sure that you're comfortable, and you have your application, a reference number that is there for you, and you just review everything. And if you're comfortable, just hit finish. And once you hit finish, what will happen here is that you have like a confirmation page that tells you, hey, listen, we have received this, blah, 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 blah. You have the reference number. This is really fine. And now it gives you also like information about the next steps. So Wells Fargo will review everything. It takes about 7 to 10 days for them to get back to you. And you also, by the way, you also receive an email. And so here is the email notification that I just received. And you actually you saw this at the beginning of this show. This is the kind of email you want to have. Please treasure it. Do not save it. Do not delete it. This will serve you in the future. All right, thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I just walked you through a $150,000 Wells Fargo business line of credit application that we did online, and hopefully this will help you out. And so next time you want to apply for this business line of credit, you have a few ideas about stuff you need to do before even starting the application process. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.